Hey everybody, welcome to Engineering Academy, and in this video I'll be talking about how to define load patterns, a diaphragm and mass source in EDAPS. Alright, so we have completed the modeling of our building, and now we have to tell SAP the kind of loads that this structure is subjected to, right? So for that we have to define the load patterns, right? So for that, go to define and click on load patterns over here, and here you will see a dead and live written by default. And so load, so this is only the name of the load that you wish to give, right? So and this is the type of the load that it is. Also it may be dead, or it may be super dead, or it may be live, or it may be roof live, or seismic weight, the kind of load that you are giving. And the self weight multiplier is 1. So the self weight multiplier 1, it means that the value of that load will be calculated by the EDAPS itself, right? So for example, the self weight of this column is the unit weight times the volume of this column, right? So this value will be calculated by the EDAPS. So we keep the name as dead here, or you can change it, right? So here it's written live, so we just delete it for now because we have to define a different kind of live. Alright, so the next load we give to EDAPS is the wall load, LO80, right? So the wall load is a dead load, and the self weight multiplier here is 0. It means that we will give the value of this load to the program, right? So the program won't calculate it for us, we have to give the value. So we click on add new load. Again, the next load that we give is parapet wall, right? So the self weight multiplier is 0. Again, the type is the dead, and the next load is flow switch, and add new load, and next is live, which is less than or is equal to 3. So there is a reason for defining the live load that is less than or is equal to 3, and I'll tell you that later in this video. So we need add new, so live load greater than 3, and we add new load, and the next load that we add is the earthquake load, so EQX, so that is the earthquake load in the X direction, right? And here this load is a seismic load, right? So, and we keep auto lateral load pattern here as none, and click on add, so none for now, and we'll change this thing while we apply the earthquake loads. Similarly EQY, and click on add new load, right? So this is a seismic load. Oops, so these two are live loads, right? So here we change it to live and click on modify, and here also we change it to live and click on modify. All right, okay, so you also can define ROF roof live, right? And hit as either you can choose that live or roof live, it doesn't matter, right? So we just select roof live, okay, and click on add new load. So you got all loads that our structure will be subjected to, and we click on OK here. So after that we define the diaphragms, right? So diaphragm basically it means that, so this your entire structure that you have over here must be a single unit while it is subjected to the lateral loads, right? So you cannot have this beam deflecting more than this beam, or this slab deflecting more than this beam when you have subjected to the lateral load from this direction or any of the 4 directions, right? So to make sure that all these structures act as a single unit, we have to define diaphragms and assign all these structures to a single diaphragm, right? So for defining the diaphragms, go to define and click on diaphragms here, and so here you see diaphragm D1 has been defined, and you have to add the number of diaphragms according to the number of floors, right? For example, here you have got ground floor, first floor, second floor, and the roof, right? So total of 1, 2, 3, and 4 floors. So you have to define 4 diaphragms. So you got 1 diaphragm, and again we click on add new diaphragm and click on D2, again add new diaphragm, D3, add new diaphragm, D4, and click on OK. Right, so after that we go to a plan and we go to ground floor and click on OK. So after that we select whatever that here is on this floor and click on assign and click on joint and click on diaphragms, and from here also you can add new diaphragms if you like. All right, so you can just go to click on add new diaphragm and you can add new diaphragms, right? So here we assign D1 diaphragm to it and click on apply, and we go to one step up, to go, and not this one. All right. Okay, so we go to the first floor and select everything, and click on diaphragm 2 and click on apply. Again we go to the second floor, select everything and click on D3 and apply. Then we go to the roof, select everything, click on D4 and apply, and click OK. So we have assigned diaphragms to the individual floors, right? So after that we have to define the mass source. So go to define and here click on the mass source. After that click on modify show mass source, and here uncheck element self mass and check specify load patterns, right? So here you see a load pattern that we just defined, and you see the kind of loads that we had defined earlier, and here the multiplier is 1. So before defining the mass source, I'll show you something. So this is IS 1893 part 1 2002. So it gives percentage of imposed load to be considered in seismic weight calculation. So here it says up to and including 3. So it means that if your live load is less than or equal to 3 kN per meter square, that is the intensity of the live load, then only the 25% of that value should be considered while calculating the live load for the entire floor, right? So if the intensity of the live load is 3 kN per meter square, then the 50% of the imposed load should be considered while calculating the loads, right? Okay, so we have to tell this thing to the ETABS, right? So this is the reason for defining the mass source. All right, so for all the dead loads, what we do, we keep the multiplier as 1. It means that entire weight will be considered for seismic weight calculation. All right, so we click on add and click on wall load and click on add again, parapet wall, click on add, so finish, click on add. So live less than 3. So this is the reason why I defined live less than or is equal to 3 and live greater than 3, right? So here we give 0.25 as a multiplier and click on add, and after that live greater than 3 and 0.5 and click on add. So after that EQ, so we don't go for the EQX and EQY, so we don't add earthquake loads, and after that we click on OK. And okay. Alright guys, so this is how you define load patterns, diaphragm and the mass source. So this was for this video, and in the next video we'll learn how to apply the loads that we just defined on this structure in ETABS. Hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching. Take care.